The rat plague.
I think someone in that theater did have the rat plague.
There was someone in that theater that had the fucking stupid plague, kept saying stupid ass shit. It made me realize that there's a reason that we have movie ratings, and like there are people that just are too immature for movies. Anytime like anything nudity related happened, you would just hear them giggle. I'm like, really?
Packed theater, dude.
It just reminded me a lot of health class in 5th grade, where everyone's just giggling at the word penis.
See, I was away from all that. I was mostly with like the elites, dude. We were all just enjoying the movie.
They were like,
yeah, we were all doing this. I heard you guys down below and with the Scousers.
well, that's where the rat plague was, dude.
When does Michael Myers show up?
At least 2, if not 3 people down to my right that was definitely snoring.
People were falling asleep probably because Nosferatu put them to sleep, dude.
That was the curse.
They did that shadow thing.
It's a bunch of Lily Rose Depp fans, dude. She's like a weird celebrity to be in an art house movie by Robert Eggers.
Oh, and she was fucking fantastic.
She was shockingly good.
We're just jumping into the review. We have not said we're back.
We're back!
But they don't even know we're back yet, dude.
Just cut that in. Just cut that in.
We're back, and today we're going to be reviewing the newest film by acclaimed director Robert Eggers, director that we're all very fond of.
The Eggman.
The Eggman, yeah. Big Shark is currently covering it. But yeah, today we're reviewing the newest film by Robert Eggers.
We call him the Eggman.
Nosferatu, probably one of the most anticipated movies of this year for all 3 of us. We'll jump right into the thoughts going in.
Let's not waste time at all.
Robert Eggers is one of probably the most interesting directors working right now.
Definitely one to pay attention to.
The Lighthouse was one of my favorite movies of 2019, if not my favorite movie, and I loved The Northman. I was very excited for this movie. I didn't watch any trailers or anything.
Boring.
Also a big Robert Eggers fan. I was the only one of us to like The Witch when it came out. I was excited when The Lighthouse came out, I was excited when The Northman came out, and I was excited for when this came out. I'm also a big Nosferatu fan. I love the original Nosferatu, and I love the 70s remake.
Kevin admitting to be a Nosferatu fan is funny because that just means he's a fan of everything horror.
And yeah, I love the iconography, and so when I heard there was a remake, I was like, okay, there's literally only one person that can do this, and it's Robert Eggers. Like, just get him.
I think Nosferatu is a weird thing culturally for a lot of people our generation, because we were all introduced to it in that one SpongeBob episode.
Yes.
Nosferatu!
I remember vividly watching that episode and being like, Dad, what the fuck was that? What was that joke?
Same.
I laughed, but I didn't get it.
And my dad even was like, that's like an old movie. I don't think I've seen that. So it's about Dracula or something. And I was like, but what's the joke? And my dad at the time, I remember just not being able to even explain it.
I don't know.
And now obviously I know it's just a classic SpongeBob kind of like absurdist throwaway joke.
Well, I was such a stupid kid that when that joke happened, I thought the creature that they were pointing at was named Nosferatu. And they were saying no to him. Don't do that.
No.
And that, yeah, I learned about him the same exact way. He was like, oh, that's an old vampire movie. This was announced forever ago. Like,
Yeah.
I want to say, I remember walking out of Barbarian.
Barbarian.
Yeah.
We walked out of that, and it was like around that time we were like, did you guys hear that Robert Eggers is going to make Nosferatu?
Bill Skarsgård is going to be in
Bill
it.
Skarsgård is going to be in it. It's like, oh, that movie's 100 years old. If I heard about a Nosferatu remake in general, I would have been like, all right, whatever. But it being a Robert Eggers movie, I'm like, well, you got to pay attention to that guy. That guy makes interesting movies.
No one forces that guy into a corner. If he makes it, he wants to make it.
Yeah, exactly. First thing I noticed about the movie that I appreciated is because Robert Eggers is a pretty household name at this point, he, like a lot of directors working today, can just make the movie as long as they want.
Yeah.
I looked at the runtime before we started it and it was 2:15. I was like, he could have made it 3 hours and killed us all.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he would have gotten away with it. They would have been like, of course, Robert Eggers, you want your masterpiece Nosferatu movie to be 4 hours long? Sure, it's a masterpiece double fold because it's 4 hours long, you're a master.
I was even thinking about this in the beginning of the movie, because he goes to that village and there's a scene where he walks out of the house that he's being kept in and he's like, where is everybody? Like, the entire village has just disappeared. And then it cuts to him walking up the mountain and I was like, you know what the movie didn't do? It didn't spend 5 minutes of him walking around the village being like, where is the villagers?
It's one shot.
It's literally one shot and then it's like, you get it. And I was like, that is such a, like, baller decision to just be like, we could spend more time on this.
That's how movies are supposed to be made.
Yeah, where it's just like, nope, you get it. There's no one there. That's all you need to know. We don't need to draw this out for anything. It's like that whole sequence too was just cut so like we're getting, like, we know that the scary part is going to be when he gets to the castle. We're getting there.
I think even though the movie's slow in parts, I would say it flows super naturally and super well. By the time it's like not slow at all, you're like, how did we get here? Oh my gosh.
It becomes a roller coaster ride like the second he gets on the boat. And that scene was like, there's so many parts. Oh God, I want to spoil. I want to spoil. Fuck you.
You can spoil later, dude.
One thing that's been really cool to see throughout his career, like especially going from his first movie to his most recent, is just the scale at which he's been able to do things. Like The Witch feels so restricted by its budget.
Yeah, the set is like a river.
They have a hut. They have one hut.
They film with natural lighting. With this movie, they're still keeping that, like, there are scenes where I'm like, yeah, this is just lit entirely by candlelight.
A lot of scenes lit by fire.
Yeah, I was like looking for the light source and I was like, they're probably just using candle. Because I know they did that a lot for The Witch and I know that he's a huge proponent of just using natural light. But then there are other scenes where it's like these big productions that, like that scene on the road where the riderless carriage is coming at him, where I was like, no, this is a big, you know, either set or strip of road that they have like a snow machine. So it's cool seeing like the upgrade path that he's been going on.
I figured they had some sort of visual effects with that, but a lot of shots I assume were visual effects were like pretty seamless.
You can't tell
There's few.
Anytime they did a big sweeping shot of like the town, it's like that's obviously going to be a visual effect, but it looks completely seamless because they just stitched it with a practical shot.
The sets themselves, like the village fucking they're filming in or set they're filming in, looks fantastic. Like there are shots with loads of people doing stuff. Really cool going from like that first one to be like, okay, wow, now he's doing this like really big thing with tons of extras and like moving parts and so many great costumes. I love that everyone fucking looked like they were in Bloodborne. That was my favorite part of this movie that made me want to start a new Bloodborne game.
There's a couple shots like that later on in the movie too, when they're in like the city and like the streets are going on forever. There's people lying dead, there's people being sick, there's people doing this, and I'm just like, there's so much going on.
It's like the same framing and shot that they had in the beginning with a bunch of people like lively, and then now it's just like a complete sickening mess.
So without spoiling, one of the coolest things that this movie does is really shows the effect on the world that this evil presence is having. Like it affects the characters super specifically, but also like the world is changing around them.
It's like a complete deterioration of the movie itself.
Yeah.
It's like not just like, oh, we're in a scary movie in a scary house fighting a scary monster. It's like, okay, the movie's being infected by a creepy ghoul man and he's affecting every character and all the side characters and the audience.
Yeah. And the movie tone-wise, like in the colors that they choose and the way it's shot, the way it's edited too, especially, it makes you feel like you're in a waking dream constantly. You're like, okay, this thing just happened. And then you're like, suddenly you're sucked back into that nightmare. And then you wake up again. And it's paced like that. Your time feels weird while you're watching it.
And characters keep referring to events that happen as dreams, but like you as the audience know that they weren't dreams.
And that all the stuff in the castle with Nicholas Hoult is interesting because like it's trying to present it like a dream, and it feels a lot like a dream, but like that's just the way it's presented. That's just the way Nosferatu is tormenting him.
Another thing that I think that Eggers has improved on since The Witch is his writing craft. The Lighthouse is really great for this. I think it was a huge jump just from The Witch to The Lighthouse, is that like his sense of humor comes out.
You're fond of me, lobster.
Even in the darkest of times, he will have jokes, and it's not like it's a comedy.
He knows what's funny.
Yeah, he's able to crack like really great gallows humor. Like there are some moments that like had us busting up.
Well, he knows if you have Willem Dafoe in like a creepy exorcist scene and then you smash cut too.
Yes, it's a demon. Just saying so matter of fact, like it's a demon.
It's like you can't not have that be funny.
That might be the single greatest just moment in the movie. It's just him and Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Who was also really good.
Yeah, no, he was great.
I think he was a standout too. That guy's usually decent,
Yeah.
but he's like really good in this.
He's always decent. At least in stuff I've seen, he's never been like a standout role.
We haven't seen Craven yet.
Yeah, I think it's another Robert Eggers hit. I have
For sure.
a couple of like super nitpicky complaints, but they fall into the like barely affect my enjoyment of the movie. Probably best movie I've seen this year, but I also can't. Oh, Furiosa. Ooh,
Furiosa.
It's high up there. I'd have to rewatch both again before I could determine, but like it is a top contender. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it. There was that part in the beginning where you saw Nosferatu's cock, and that kind of set a precedent. I'm actually just thinking about this, that I was actually really disappointed throughout the rest of the movie.
This is not a spoiler if you've seen any Robert Eggers film.
There's always cock.
The problem is the precedent it sets.
There's
Because
usually
I
cock.
thought when I saw that cock, like, oh great, this is the first of many scenes.
This is a cock movie.
And I was really excited for seeing more cock.
I was expecting a lot more cock. I'll give that spoiler for free. They throw one cock in there. Get your rocks off then, dude, because they're not going to see any more.
I just gotta say, because of that alone, I'm gonna have to give it like a 3 out of 12, I think.
Nosferatu, bring the cocks next time.
You may have made one of the best crafted movies of the year, and it's probably going to be on my favorites list for the decade.
But like,
like, where were the cocks?
what gives?
It'd be #1 of the century if you had cock.
Listen, it's not that he has to put the cocks in. It's that we were promised cocks.
It was in the trailer.
The trailer said full cock.
There was even a part later on where I thought, because she was like, "Oh, you can't please me as good as him,"
But you could never please me as he could.
and I was like, "Oh, that's it. We're gonna see
Show Nosferatu's cock.
show Nosferatu
Show why.
using that cock."
Show don't tell. Show don't tell.
Show why.
Come on, Robert Eggers.
I know, kind of low.
I think it's fair.
I think it's the only fair
it's very
rating I can give.
I have nothing but good things to say about it. One of my favorites of the year for sure. It's worth mentioning too, like I do genuinely think Robert Eggers among like, there's like a trio that kind of get talked about a lot, and it's him, Ari Aster, and Jordan Peele. And a lot of people are kind of like talk about them as like the big.
I think he stomps all of their asses.
They're not even on the same shelf as him. They're two shelves down.
But that is what I'm saying.
They're not even in the same weight class. Don't even put them together.
Oh my guys, don't get me wrong. I enjoy those guys' films. You know, I'm in complete. We're all in agreement that Robert Eggers stomps the living crap out of their asses. Like it's not even close.
Did you see The Lighthouse?
Let Neptune strike ye dead, Winslow.
That is a masterpiece.
Like Jordan Peele makes a movie, I'm like, yeah, I'll go check out what Jordan Peele's got. But it's like, no, Robert Eggers, I'm like, no, I'm gonna see it and I'm going to like it. There's no doubt.
So Kevin, you loved it. So what's your score?
Oh, 8 out of 10.
I think that was pretty fair and balanced.
You did make it seem like it was perfect.
It's a fair, balanced movie, so therefore it deserves a fair and balanced score.
Sam Slade?
Yeah, I'll bring us home.
Best I can do.
I thought this movie was sweet. I think it's a really good slow burn that's not going to be for everybody. If you just like let it get going, it really unravels in a really satisfying way. It's one of the best directed movies I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
It's a very clear example of really good directing. Such a smooth flowing narrative.
With well thought out characters.
Very unique look, very unique dialogue, very unique characters.
Once again, shot on film. It looks great.
Looks great, love the lighting.
I was shocked it was in color.
Well, I love the color choices in the movie.
It's like almost borderline black and white in so many spots.
What they do is they had the saturation at like 2, and then every once in a while they bring it to 0.
But only with certain shots when you weren't looking.
Most like hacky movies that like are like some parts are in black and white because they're thinking black and white.
Yeah.
This movie, it's like really seamless, and you're just it's almost like a creepy thing when it happens. Like, oh, is there no color now? Oh no. Yeah, loved all that. One of the best movies of the year.
That's well.
You gotta give it eggs.
I'm gonna have to give it a 1.
Oh my God.
He's got enough eggs. He's Robert Eggers. I think he's got enough.
This is just fair.
This is just fair.
We gotta save eggs for the rest of the population.
Eggs are expensive these days.
I've been spending way too much eggs lately, dude.
We just gave like all of our eggs to the critical drinker.
I gave a bunch of eggs to people that definitely didn't deserve it.
That was our bad.
If I'm being honest, I need to get paid some more eggs because the rest of the movies for the rest of the year are going to be 1s.
Someone should rate us 12 out of 12.
Yeah.
Will you do that?
Yeah, I would love a 12 out of 12.
Will you do that, please?
But that seems pretty fair.
He's got enough eggs.
Robert the Eggman Eggers.
Do you want to make a short film and have it be reviewed by real industry losers?
Do you have a camera and friends that can act for you? We're doing a 48-hour short competition.
And it is January 17th to the 19th. That's Friday night to Sunday night. Start off Friday night, and then you have Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday to complete a short film from writing to filming to editing and then turning it in. We're going to be competing ourselves. We make a short, we upload it that night,
And we're gonna react to it on our own channel. You're gonna get your own video.
and then we're going to be doing a video at the end of it where we're going to be reacting to all the short films. So if you want to be like making us watch something weird, this is your best chance because we're going to be watching all the short films that are submitted through this competition. Save the weekend to do.
If you don't want to join us, go eat ass.
Check it out, link right there, click it. You don't, it'll stay in the corner, you don't have to pay. It's gonna be a lot of fun, so we hope to see you guys there. If you competed last time, then bring your A game this time because we beat your ass.
That's true, we did destroy everyone. If you want to defeat us.
I loved how in the entire first act, no one is pretending that he's not going to die.
It is shocking he didn't catch on.
Well, they all said it in different language.
What's that character's name? The one that goes crazy.
Yeah.
Or the guy that's a servant of Nosferatu. How is Nick Holt not like weirded out by this? And then every villager he talks to is like, don't go there, you're going to die.
That's the creepy castle where you die, because of the creepiness in the creepy castle.
An old lady pulls him aside and is like, you need to pray, you need Jesus Christ. Please don't go to that castle.
Must have been a dream.
Where all this is going, I don't think it was that intentionally funny, but the first scene with him and Nosferatu, I was cracking up. And I think it's partially just because my brain has been ruined by what we do in the shadows.
We should get some slaves.
Yes.
We must sign this unholy covenant.
Your government
They give you a full
papers.
spoonful of him when he's introduced. Like, they don't show his face right away, but like his voice, and he's just he's so talkative.
And him just talking about wanting to sign those papers, just like it was so like
How he's mad that he's late.
that whole scene was very funny.
It's like, yeah, a bunch of gypsies stole my fucking horse, so.
But it's a testament to how good the movie is that doesn't ruin it. Like in any other movie, if I'm laughing at the monster in the first,
It's kind of fun to have that. Like, I kind of laugh when I watch The Shining.
Yeah.
I laugh at a few parts because it's just like kind of so creepy.
Yeah, because it's,
It's a little goofy, but
it's a natural response.
I was gonna give a couple gripes. One is just not a real gripe. It's not even that big of a deal.
I did hate the movie.
I thought it was terrible. I did give it a 1 for a reason. No, it's more that like I said with that slow pace, for the most part it works. I'd say within the first 30 to 40 minutes, so there's a few parts that drag, and that's mostly due to the fact that you already really know what's gonna.
Yeah.
The build-up isn't like, it's not like it's bad or anything, but it's a little lost when you, as the audience member, are like, all right, I know he's evil.
Yeah.
I know what's going on. But like, there's enough really good stuff and good shots and good scenes in between there that
I felt
work.
it less there. The one time I had like a pacing complaint was actually towards the end, and it was in the 3 nights.
The second night's a little long.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. People are gonna die. I knew the little girls were gonna die. I leaned over to Kevin the second they showed a shot of those little girls. So I was like, those little girls are.
I was hoping they would, and I was glad when they did.
I just watched The Witch, and I was like, Robert Eggers has no problem with killing twins.
And he just rips their throat out and drops them.
Yeah.
Which is pretty messed up.
And so I was like, those 2 little girls are getting eaten. Yeah, I think just in that second night where I was like, this could be sped up a little bit.
You kind of already feel.
You know where this is going.
But there's still good scenes in there. That's the thing that I'm kind of like. It's not really a complaint.
I'm officially not complaining.
Kevin is refraining on complaining.
That's my official public statement.
Wow.
I'd say other gripe is I don't know about the mustache for Nosferatu. I'm not saying I don't like
I
it.
kind of like the mustache.
I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying I don't know.
Here's why.
I just don't know.
I kept thinking to myself, are they gonna do the teeth thing? Like, is there ever gonna be a CG shot?
That's
where
what I was kind of like.
big teeth.
Are we gonna lose the mustache at some point?
Here's what the mustache did, and I think I get why they did it, is it's still in shadow. It kind of gives the illusion of those teeth.
My read on it was that they were kind of trying to go for a more, I guess, realistic looking, like if you were in that situation, maybe you wouldn't automatically assume he's a ghoul monster trying to steal your soul or whatever.
Yeah.
Because in the original Nosferatu, you're just kind of like, run away from that.
He's a goblin and he's hiding it by wearing a hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the design was interesting because like the mustache, if I'm...
Ooh, wow. He's not refraining from complaining. This.
No, I'm explaining.
Oh,
I'm explaining.
You're not
There's a
complaining. You're
difference.
explaining. Okay.
I thought the mustache thing was gonna just be a goof. Like, I thought that was just gonna end as a goof and not be like, well, let's keep talking about the mustache.
Kevin's now explaining the mustache.
You know what? The mustache, though.
There's a couple things I would imagine go into it. Because it is an adaptation of Dracula. And Dracula, even though not a single adaptation has actually done, Dracula has a mustache when they're at the castle. Like, very plainly in the book, he has a mustache, he has long, pointy fingernails, and he has hairy palms. And like, it's made very clear, and no version, even the faithful ones, do that. And so it's like maybe Robert Eggers, in addition to I think a lot of the other stuff visually and also to make him look a little more passably human in shadow, like the combination of elements kind of led that to, yeah, that's probably that.
I thought it was to make him look less like Dracula, maybe. He's got a mustache.
He's not Dracula.
He's not Dracula. He's got a mustache.
I mean, his silhouette is great.
It's insanely intimidating.
Well, besides the mustache, which I don't dislike, I just don't know about. His look is great.
Find me a bad mustache in the movie.
It was full of great mustaches.
Good
he just wanted to
mustache,
fit in.
That's all I'm saying.
He just wanted to fit in.
Another part that I found very amusing is when Nick Holt is going to sign the contract, and he's like, "It is in my native tongue," and Nick Holt doesn't ask what it says. Like, I was just like, ask what it says at least.
I know.
He is scared out of his goddamn mind, dude.
It's like, oh, you could have had the excuse if like you lost your agency in the movie and like he's controlling you, but it's like, no, you're just being stupid.
You're just a pussy. Yeah, you like. I was just like, ask what it says. Ask what it says first.
or just don't sign it.
It says, I agree.
To what?
It's like, did you stamp that with a devil sigil? It's like, that's my native tongue, the sigil.
Of Satan.
Very similar to Satan, but not Satan.
I loved that. I don't know how intentional it is in the script or in the performance, but like I almost didn't believe him. Like I thought he was wrong for like most of his interpretations of things, or like it kind of felt like he was making it up as he goes. Like it didn't just feel like he knew everything from the get-go. Like it felt like he was learning more. It felt very organic, and I also felt like there's probably another solution to the situation. I don't know if I fully buy that she was the only way.
Only you can redeem us.
He had to skim it, dude. He skimmed the book
that's
and
what
he
I'm
saw the
saying,
picture. He's like, okay, the picture looks important.
By the end of it, I was kind of like, yeah, I don't know if I 100% just trust his judgment on it.
However, it was the more satisfying end because I would have been more annoyed if it ended with Nicholas Hoult stabbing him.
I mean, that's actually a deviation in the original Nosferatu. That, of course, in the original, he just, and turns into dust. And they're not having really gross sex in the movie, but it's fundamentally the same kind of thing, and so he kept that, and I'm glad he did.
Is something that I could come back to on a second rewatch and completely be like, oh, I disagree with this entirely, but upon first watch, I wish the ending sat longer. Too small of a gap for me between that, like Nosferatu dying, and then the movie hitting credits.
I kind of get what you're saying. I don't know if it's like sitting with the movie after he's dead, but maybe building towards that. Just more juice in the scene before that, I guess.
Yeah.
There was a lot of juice. Yeah, I guess just a little bit more of a climax towards that.
The ending felt a little abrupt. And again, I could completely be like, oh, I'm a stupid idiot upon a second watch.
Yeah, I don't really ultimately have an issue with the ending.
But first screening, I kind of, like, when the credits rolled, I was like, I wanted something more. If it's just a little bit more time or if it's a little bit more buildup, I don't know. Not a lot, like it's still a satisfying ending.
I like the last shot of it a lot. The last shot's the best shot for that ending, I feel like. I feel like they should have cut to Nicholas Hoult at some point.
Yeah.
They didn't really. They were just like, let's focus on Willem Dafoe for a second.
Yeah.
And you're like, he's not, I like Willem Dafoe. He's not.
But he wasn't like the protagonist. He's kind of a crazy man lighting things on fire.
I really like their tenuous grasp on medical health.
Oh, you need to tighten her corset to make sure that she's breathing well at night.
Their favorite solution to anything was like, well, just take more blood out of her.
The best parts of them, but the parts that stood out to me, of course, was just obviously Robert Eggers' direction was fantastic. Everything felt very cohesive. The cinematography like flowed from one shot to another shot in a different cut was just like so smooth.
Best shot of the movie. Like he looks out the window or whatever, and like the hand stretches over, and then it goes into that shot,
and then it keeps going. Or the shots, mostly towards the beginning, but they happen a couple of times throughout the movie where he's there and the camera will pan, and then he's right next to him on the other side, and I'm like, that's cool. Performances from across the board were really great. Lily Rose Depp especially was really great. Bill Skarsgård, as usual, disappeared completely.
Sound design was great.
Oh yeah, the sound was
design
fucking
was so
phenomenal.
good.
Especially in a theater.
Rattly breathing.
He's literally the plague. Like he is depression. He's that dark part of that mental health that not just for her but other people. It works just so perfectly in all those ways, and it's totally in sync. So absolutely loved it. Hardcore recommend.
So glad it wasn't 4 hours long. He spared us, dude. He's our messiah, honestly. Like every single director has failed that test within the past 3 years. Every single one has failed that test. Even the ones I like have failed that test.
Sorry about the eggs, Robert Eggers, but you have enough.
You have enough eggs.
I don't feel that bad about it.
I don't feel bad about it.
And if you don't have enough eggs, maybe consider changing your name.
Or put more dicks in your movie.
I would have given you way more than 12 eggs if you put more dick in there.
We'd shell out eggs.
There should have been way more dick.
I'd spend my last eggs on those cocks,
I wanted to
dude.
see that rattly, decrepit, rotting cock.
The one we were promised.
The one I was promised.
If that's going to turn you off, viewers, then don't go see it.
I don't know why I'm turning into Kevin today.
It's because you saw Nosferatu, dude. You have the plague.
I do have the plague.